What is up guys, my name is MipZ, and what we're gonna do today is basically that we'll break down how to play Xayah ADC. Alright, so before we begin, I just shortly want to tell you guys that the purpose of these videos is to give you guys a fun and informative guide that provides you guys with the tools you need to either get started with Xayah or to improve depending on where you are. Please feel free to drop feedback, suggestions, criticism, or requests for future content. And yeah, by the way, if you like this video, it would mean the world to me if you would smash that subscribe button right in the booty.
Oh my god, yes!
Without further ado, let's get started. First, we will very briefly go over Xayah's abilities, since this is absolutely necessary in order to understand the mechanics that I'll teach you guys in a moment. Let's start with Xayah's passive ability, called Clean Cuts. When Xayah uses an ability, her next few basic attacks will hit all enemies along their path, and drop feathers that she can later recall. Additionally, Xayah has an extra passive ability, if she's grouped up with Rakan, called Lover's Sleep. If either Xayah or Rakan is recalling, they can sync up to return to base together. Xayah's Q is double daggers and does exactly what the name implies. When Xayah uses this ability, she throws 2 damaging daggers that also drops feathers that she can recall. Xayah's W is Deadly Plumage, which increases her attack speed and her damage while granting her additional movement speed if she attacks a champion. Also, if Xayah is grouped up with Rakan and he's nearby, he also gains Deadly Plumage when Xayah activates it. Xayah's E ability is called Blade Caller, which calls all her drop feathers back to her. The feathers deal damage to all enemies along its path and roots enemies hit by 3 or more feathers. Lastly, we have Xayah's ult, called Feather Storm. This ability makes Xayah leap into the air while becoming untargetable and throwing out a fan of daggers that drops feathers, which she can recall with Blade Caller. Alright, so now that we've got a handle on the core abilities for Xayah, we'll dig a bit deeper into how you can exploit these abilities to outmaneuver your enemies. Here we'll look at how to secure snares, cancelling animations, optimizing burst, and so on. The first mechanic we'll look at is what I like to call quick snares. So one thing you need to know as a Xayah player is that your Q double daggers do not interrupt your auto attack timer, meaning that you can Q plus auto attack very fast for a snare, especially since your feathers doesn't need to land before you recall them. So to clarify, you can Q plus auto attack and then click E instantly, and all feathers will come directly back to you as they reach their landing location. Another cool trick with Xayah is ult plus flash. This can be used both as a defensive mechanism to get out of a tight situation, or as an offensive maneuver to place feathers around your targets and burst them down with your Blade Caller. Another neat trick is that you can use your ult after pressing Q to cancel the double daggers animation. This is great for maximizing your bursts, since you'll have an additional 2 feathers on the ground as you recall them with your E. Next trick is what I like to call the E flash combo, which is very simple. When you have feathers placed and you are unable to get a snare due to your position or angle on the target, you can just E before you flash in position to recall the feathers and as a result snare your target. The cool thing about this is that since you use your Blade Caller before you flash, then it actually cancels the animation. Lastly, I'll show you how you can maximize your burst, but this full combo leaves you pretty vulnerable if you don't finish your enemies. The full burst looks like this: pop your W and auto attack once, then Q, then ult, then auto attack, and lastly pull back your feathers. For the runes, we're going to be running Precision with Press the Attack as keystone, since it'll give you a nice bit of burst and increase your overall DPS, while also increasing the damage the target takes from your teammates. Next up, we'll be taking Triumph, which is insane for those 2v2 duels or longer teamfights, since the takedown gives you 15% health back and can either save your life or allow you to keep fighting. Next rune will be Legend Alacrity, which is just insane, basically for almost all ADCs at the moment, since they scale so well with attack speed. So this rune will just overall give you a lot more DPS. Last rune in the precision tree will be Coup de Grace, which gives you 10% more damage on targets below 40% and gives you an additional 9 attack damage increase per champion takedown. For the second rune tree, we'll be running Sorcery. For the first rune, you will want to take Celebrity for the extra 4% movement speed and an additional attack damage, which is based on 8% of your total movement speed. Lastly, you'll want to pick Gathering Storm to gain adaptive attack damage per 10 minutes in the game. Overall, this rune setup will maximize your potential DPS and scales really well with late game. For the build, I recommend that you rush Essence Reaver into a Static Shiv and then an Infinity Edge. Boots are always a necessity, so get them early. Most often you'll find yourself buying Berserker's Grief, but remember to buy Ninja Tappies or Mercuries against heavy AD or heavy AP teams. The last two items I'll let you decide. I often recommend going something like Mortal Reminder or Lord Dominic's depending on what you're up against, and then following it up with the Guardian Angel. Do remember that all builds are very dynamic and will change depending on what you face and as new items are added to the game or altered. I've left a link down below in the description that clarifies the variations of build for Xayah depending on what you face. Anyway, you guys, that is going to be it for this video. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from it. If you did, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell thingy. Since I will come out with more guides and a lot more fun league content over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, with that said, all I have to say is stay awesome, have fun, take it easy. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.